How are you doing, math learners? This is your free access math teacher Ash, and welcome to ML with Sir Ash. For today's lesson, we're going to start the reviewer series for our fellow math learners who will be taking entrance examinations or other examinations in which mathematics is part of their exams, like the licensure exams, the civil service exams, and even the other university exams. But this is still just the part 1 of our series, and we will be having more on the upcoming videos. But before we start this series, if you are new to this channel, hit the subscribe button and notification bell for you to be updated of these cool clear math videos just like this. Hello math learners! Welcome to the part 1 of our reviewer series for our fellow math learners who will be taking up college entrance exams, licensure exams, PNU, NAPOLCOM, or civil service exams, and other examinations in which mathematics is a part of it. Now, we will be answering series of questions, and I will show you some techniques on how to answer these problems. Now, let us start. Question number 1. A water tank contains 8 liters when it is 20% full. How many liters does it contain when it is 75% full? Is it A, 60 liters, B, 30 liters, C, 58 liters, or letter D, 15 liters? Okay, math learners, to answer the first problem, this is an example of the ratio and proportion. Now, the ratio and proportion talks about the comparison of two quantities for the ratio, and the proportion talks about the equality of two or more ratios. So the first ratio here is that it talks about 8 liters is to 20% of the tank. While the second ratio is that it is asking for the X liters if it is 75% full. So what we can do here is to apply the fundamental law of proportion, in which the product of the means is equal to the product of the extremes. So we will be multiplying the means and the extremes. So 20% of X, of course, if you multiply a value which is in percent to an X value, we need to transform or convert the 20% into a decimal. So 20% is 0.2, right? So 0.2 times X, that is 0.2X. While if you multiply 8 to 75%, that is 0.75. Now, simplifying this, we will have 0.2x is equal to 8 times 0.75, that is 6.0. Now, dividing both sides by 0.2 in order for us to isolate the value of x, 6 divided by 0.2, the answer is 30 liters. Easy, right? Now, let us check whether we are correct. Answer is letter B, 30 liters. Alright. Now, let us go to the second problem. Which of these math sentences is incorrect? Is it A, 1/2 plus 1/3 is equal to 5 over 6? B, 1/3 plus 1/4 is equal to 7 over 12? Or C, 1/7 plus 2/3 is equal to 3 over 21? Or letter D, 1/6 plus 1 over 8 is equal to 14 over 48? Now for this next problem, what we can do here is to apply the trial and error. We will check each choice whether it is a correct mathematical sentence. And if it is not, then that is the correct answer. So let us start first with the first choice, which is 1/2 plus 1/3 is equal to 5 over 6. Now, for us to know whether this is correct, we can apply the butterfly method. So that is 1 times 3, that is 3. 2 times 1, that is 2. And for us to know the denominator of these numerators, we just multiply the denominator. So 2 times 3, that is 6. And since this is addition, so we will add. Now, having similar fractions, we only need to add the numerators and then copy the denominator. So 3 plus 2 is 5. That's correct. And we copy the denominator, so that is 5 over 6. Therefore, we can say that this is a correct mathematical sentence. Therefore, letter A is not the correct answer. Now, let us try for letter B. For letter B, we have 1/3 plus 1/4 is equal to 7 over 12. Now, applying the butterfly method, we have 1 times 4, that is 4. Then, we have 3 times 1, that is 3. And in order for us to know the denominator, 3 times 4, that is 12. Since this is still addition, so therefore, we just add the numerator and copy the denominator. So that the correct denominator is there. 4 plus 3, that is 7. So therefore, this is still a correct mathematical sentence. Now, how about letter C? Now, for letter C, we have 1/7 plus 2/3 is equal to 3 over 21. So, applying the butterfly method, we have 1 times 3, that is 3. 7 times 2, that is 14. 7 times 3, that is 21. We add them, okay? So, the denominator is still the same. However, if we add 3 plus 14, that is 17. And 17 is not equal to 3. Therefore, this is a wrong mathematical sentence. Therefore, we have already found our answer for this problem. Easy, right? Now, if you want to ask me whether we need to validate the letter D, since this is a multiple choice and we already got our answer, there is no need to do so. Now, let us check whether we are correct. And the correct answer is letter C. 1 over 7 plus 2/3 is equal to 3 over 21. Easy, right? Now, let us go to the next problem. Which of the following has the largest value? Is it A, 7 to the 5th power, B, 3 to the 9th power, C, 6 to the 4th power, or letter D, 9 to the 3rd power, or 9 cubed? Okay, math learners, for this problem, we have 4 different choices and has exponents. This is a concept of the law of exponents, and we need to look for the greatest in value among these 4 choices. So how do we know that one? Remember, the concept of the law of exponent is that the base is multiplied by itself on how many times the number is being written in the exponent. So if we have 7 to the 5th power, that means we multiply 7 5 times to itself. If we have 3 to the 9th power, we will multiply 3 9 times to itself. And if we have 6 to the 4th power, we will multiply 6 4 times to itself. Of course, if we have 9 cubed, we will multiply 9 3 times to itself. Okay, so how do we know which among these has the greatest value? Now, if you compare 7 to the 5th power and 6 to the 4th power, this has only 4 6, while this one has 5 7. Of course, 5 7 is greater, so therefore, we already know that 6 to the 4th power is not the correct answer. Now, how about 3 to the 9 and 9 cubed? Now, remember in the 3 to the 9th power, if we multiply this one, this will be 9. If we multiply this one, this will be 9. If we multiply this one, 9, and here 9, but there is still another 3 there. So, this has already 4 9s, while this one has only 3 9s. So, therefore, this is not the correct answer. Now, let us go to compare 7 to the 5th power and 3 to the 9th power. 7 to the 5th power is 7 times 7, that is 49. This is 49, and then another 7. So, therefore, we just need to multiply this one, 49 times 49, that is 81. 36 plus 8, that is 44. 4 times 9 is 36. 4 times 4 is 16. 17, 18, 19. That is 19 there. So 1, 10, carry 1, 14, carry 1. So this is 2,401 times the last 7 there. So we have 7, 0, 28, 14, 15, 16. So 16,807. Okay. So this is our value for the 7 to the 5th power. How about 3 to the 9th power? So 9 times 9, that is 81. 9 times 9 here, that is another 81. And then later on, we will multiply it by 3. So we have 81. 8 times 1 is 8. 8 times 8 is 64. So 1, 16, carry 1, 5, 6. So 6,561 times 3. So that is 3. 18, carry 1. 15, 16, and that will be 19. So 19,683 is bigger than 16,807. Therefore, the correct answer is 3 to the 9th power. Easy, right? Now, let's check whether we are correct. And the correct answer is letter B, 3 to the 9th power. Easy, right? Now, let us go to the next problem. What is the value of 12 and 1/6 minus 2 and 3/8 minus 7 and 2/3 plus 19 and 3/4? Is it A, 21 and 1/8? Letter B, 22. C, 21 and 7/8. Or letter D, 21. Okay, for this problem, my dear math learners, we are all to simplify the given mathematical expression. So this is a combination of addition and subtraction of mixed numbers. Now, since this is addition and subtraction, we can add the whole numbers immediately. So we have 12 minus 2, that is 10. 10 minus 3, that is 3. 3 plus 19, that is 22. Now, for the fractions, unfortunately, they have different denominators. So we need to convert each fractions into its equivalent fraction. So 6, 8, 3, and 4. What is the LCD of 6, 8, 3, and 4? I think that is 24. So we will be making 4 fractions with denominator of 24. Now, what happened to 6? Why it became 24? It was multiplied by 4. So 1 times 4, that is 4. What happened to 8? Why it became 24? It was multiplied by 3. So 3 times 3, that is 9. What happened to 3? Why it became 24? It was multiplied by 8. So 2 times 8 is 16. Now, what happened to 4? Why it became 24? It is multiplied by 6. So 3 times 6, that is 18. Okay, so now we can simplify our fractions. So we copy our whole number and we copy the denominator. So 4 minus 9, that is negative 5. Negative 5 minus 16, that is negative 21. And negative 21 plus 18, that is negative 3. Now, the problem here is that we don't have a final answer with a negative fraction. So what we can do here is we can borrow one whole number here, making this as 21, 24 over 24. Okay? And then we can simplify negative 3 over 24. So that gives us 21. 24 minus 3, that is 21 over 24. So now this is all in the whole number. However, 21 over 24 can still be in lowest terms. So that is by the use of the common factor, which is 3. So that is 21 divided by 3, that is 7. 24 divided by 3, that is 8. And this will be our final answer. Easy, right? Now, let's check whether we are correct. And the correct answer is letter C, 21 and 7 over 8. So, easy, right? Now, let us go to the next problem. In the following numbers, which digit is in the thousands place? The given number is 5,672 and 13,498 hundred thousandths. Is it A, 6, B, 4, C, 3, or letter D, 9? Okay, my dear math learners, we are asked here about the place value of thousands. Okay, now, if you have this part of your place value, it means we are talking about decimals. So since this is already the whole numbers and these are the numbers or the digits in the decimal values, so therefore we will be focusing here. Now remember, the first place value after the decimal point is known as the tenths value. Next is the hundredths value, and the next of that is the thousandths value. So therefore, we already have our answer. Easy, right? And the correct answer is letter B, 4. I'm sure you got this one. Now, let us go to the next problem. One angle of a parallelogram is 35 degrees. what are the measures of the other three angles? Is it A, 45 degrees, 65 degrees, and 170 degrees? B, 85 degrees, 135 degrees, 140 degrees? Or C, 145 degrees, 35 degrees, 145 degrees? Or letter D, 45 degrees, 65 degrees, 65 degrees? Now, for our next problem, we have the parallelogram. It was given that one angle of the parallelogram is 35 degrees. Now, what is the measurement of the three other angles? Now, basically, my dear math learners, if you have learned or remember the topic on parallelogram, which is already been discussed in this channel, it says there that the parallelogram has several properties. And one of the properties of a parallelogram is that opposite angles are congruent. So if this is 35, then the opposite angle of that one is this one, that is also 35 degrees. And since these two here, or these two here, or these two here is known as the consecutive angles, the parallelogram also talks about the consecutive angles. And according to the properties of a parallelogram, consecutive angles in a parallelogram are supplementary. So when we say supplementary, the total measurement is 180 degrees. So if you have 35 degrees, what is needed by 35 degrees in order for it to have a total of 180 degrees? Then it needs to have 145 degrees. So of course, if this is 145, this is also 145 degrees. Easy, right? Now, let's check whether you are correct. And the correct answer is letter C, 145 degrees, 35 degrees, 145 degrees. Very good. Now, let us go to the next problem. The edges of a rectangular solid have these measures: 1.5 feet by 1/2 feet by 3 inches. Question: what is its volume in cubic inches? Is it A, 324 cubic inches, B, 225 cubic inches, C, 227 cubic inches, or letter D, 27 cubic inches? Okay, my dear math learners, for the next problem, we have the rectangular solid, and the problem asked for the volume in cubic inches. Now, our given has different units of measure. It has feet, and then inches. Okay, remember that in 1 foot, there are 12 inches. Therefore, if we have 1/2 of that foot, therefore, we need to get 1/2 of 12, and this will become 6 inches. Of course, this is already in inch, so no need to change that. However, here, we have 1.5 feet. So, 1.5 feet is 1 1/2. So, 1 foot is 12, half of it is 6. So, if we add this 1, that is 18 inches. Therefore, 1.5 feet is 18 inches. So, in order for us to know the volume of this rectangular solid, the formula for the volume of a rectangular solid is length times width times height. So, we just multiply 18 times 6 times 3. So, therefore, that is 18 times 18. And the answer of that is 324 cubic inches. So, that will be our answer. Easy, right? Now, let's check whether you are correct. The correct answer is letter A, 324 cubic inches. Easy, right? Now, let us go to the next problem. How many degrees are between the hands of a clock at 4? Is it A, 90 degrees, B, 120 degrees, C, 150 degrees, or letter D, 180 degrees? Now, for this next problem, my dear math learners, we will be talking about the clock. Now, it says here, how many degrees in the time of 4 o'clock? So, if this is your circle, 12 is here, 6 is here, 3 is here, this is 9, of course, this is 4, 5. This is 2 and 1, 1. We have here 7, 8, 10, and 11. Now, remember that a clock is a circle. Of course, the total measurement of a circle is 360 degrees. Now, since this is divided by 12 hours or 12 parts, which is in the clock, so if we divide this by 12, we will have 30 degrees. Now, talking about 4 o'clock, that is right here, right? So, therefore, we need to get this one, the total angles of this one. So, 1 hour is 30 degrees. So, therefore, if this is 30, 30, 30, 30, we have 4 30s, and that is 120 degrees. Easy, right? Now, let's check whether you are correct. And the correct answer is letter B, 120 degrees. Easy, right? Now, let us go to the next problem. Which of these three fractions has the largest value? Is it A, 3/4, B, 4/15, C, 5/9, or letter D, 12/24? Okay, my dear math learners, in this problem, we are asked which among these four fractions has the greatest value. Now, for us to know that one, you need to convert all of the fractions into its lowest terms. So, 3/4, 4/15, 5/9 is already in its lowest term. However, 12/24 can be simplified into its lowest term, and that is 1/2. Okay, so half of the whole. Now, you can question yourself which among these is larger than half of the whole. Now, is 4 half of 15? No. So, therefore, 1/2 is still bigger. So, this is not the correct answer. How about 3/4? Okay, so 3/4 is bigger, right? So, therefore, 1/2 here is already not the correct answer. So, now we only have two fractions to compare. Which among these has the greater value? You can also apply the butterfly method here. So, by using the butterfly method, that is 3 times 9, that is 427. 4 times 5, that is 420. Of course, 27 is bigger than 20. Therefore, 3/4 is bigger than 5/9. And that is our correct answer. And the correct answer is letter A, 3/4. Alright. Which of these has a value different from the other three? Is it A, 15%, B, 2/3, C, 15, or letter D, 0.12 or 12 hundredths? Okay, my dear math learners, for this problem, we really don't need to solve anything. Why? Because we just need to compare. Now, the first given is 15%, the second is 2/3, the third one is 15, and the fourth one is 0.12 or 12 hundredths. Now, which among these four given choices is different from the group? Now, remember, my dear math learners, that percent, fraction, and decimal always talks about the parts of a whole. While 15 here is the only whole. So, therefore, we already know the correct answer. And the correct answer is letter C, 15. Easy, right? Now, let us go to the next problem. The vertex angle of an isosceles triangle is 30 degrees. What is the measure of one base angle? Is it A, 150 degrees, B, 75 degrees, C, 70 degrees, or letter D, 60 degrees? Now, for our last problem, it says here, the vertex of an isosceles triangle is 30 degrees. Now, what is the measurement of one of the base angles? Okay. Now, the first concept you need to answer is, what is an isosceles triangle? An isosceles triangle is a triangle in which two sides are equal. Of course, if there are two sides are equal, then it also talks that the two angles opposite to those sides are also equal, because there is always the relationship of angles and its sides. So therefore, if these two sides are equal, then these two angles here is also equal. Now the question is, how do we get the measurement of one of the base angles? Always remember, my dear math learners, that whatever triangle you have, the total measurement of the interior angle is always 180 degrees. Therefore, if you already have 30 degrees here, that is 150 degrees more. So therefore, this 150 degrees will be shared by these two remaining base angles. And 150 divided by 2, that is 75 degrees. Easy, right? And for this question, the correct answer is letter B, 75 degrees. Okay, my dear math learners, I hope you have learned a lot of things on this first part of our reviewer series. Now, you are ready for our part 2, and be sure to subscribe for you to be updated on the next video for our reviewer series. This is still your free access math teacher Ash, and always remember, it is fun to learn mathematics if we are together learning. If you are new to this channel, don't forget to click that subscribe button and share this to your friends. Thank you, God bless, and keep safe always.